Now there ain't nothing to it, go ahead and bring a live thorn. Ain't no giant, I ain't gon' fire on. Catch a fade, you I'm wrong, I'm gone. Y'all can catch the wave that I am on. I am icon, y'all are wide wrong. Think that I'm a reconcile born, so ain't nothing to it though. This is on me, ain't got much to do with who you know. Keeping it true to form 10 L's into a milli though. But they already knew that those farewell to your opinions, know that he is so. This is on me, ain't got much to do with who you know. Yeah, keeping it true to form, but they already knew that.
All right, welcome to the Fantasy Six-Pack Fantasy Football 2023 Team Previews. I'm Joe Bond, founder of FantasySixPack.net. With me doing the AFC East is Dylan Clemons. What's up, man?
What's going on, Joe?
All right, pretty good. So we're going to be doing the Miami Dolphins today in this episode. Before we jump into that, though, just want to go through a little business. We got the subscription button down below. Hit the subscribe button, hit those like buttons, leave those comments. We appreciate it. And, of course, we've got our Fantasy Six-Pack All-Access memberships over at Fantasy Six-Pack. Go to FantasySixPack.net/plans to sign up to become a member today. We're going to have our draft cheat sheets. We're going to have Discord access, our award-winning rankings, and much, much more. It's good stuff. So join us over there and let's have some fun this season. But in the meantime, man, let's get into the Miami Dolphins, and we'll share the screen here. Start off with our quarterbacks, and we got Tua Tagovailoa, Mike White, and Skylar Thompson here. Obviously, Tua is the player we want to talk about here. What is his true ceiling, man, if he can finish the season healthy and, stay, let's say 15, 16 games. Like, what's his ceiling? And hopefully 17, right? But
yeah, right. I think he could do top 6 to 8 quarterback. I don't think he's going to be as high as, some of the other running quarterbacks like Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, them top tier guys. But I think he can float around 6 to 8. Last year, man, he was first in yards per attempt. He was first in adjusted yards per attempt as well, and number 1 in deep ball percentage. And with his weapons that he's got, each guy can go deep. They could each catch, shorter screen passes, and they can take any touch they get to the house,
Yeah, it helps to have two of the fastest receivers in the NFL for sure. Yeah. Cedric Wilson's no joke either. So, they've got the weapons. Even their running backs can catch the ball and do some damage with it. So it's a really good offense around him. Yes, he's just got to stop taking the big hits, man, and getting knocked out of games. And that's the unfortunate part. Hopefully he stays healthy because, it's one thing if he was dealing with like a knee or like an ankle or something like that, but man, we're talking about pretty bad head injuries that he's had last season. He had 2 ones that knocked him out pretty good. So we just have to hope he can stay healthy. But yeah, I've got him ranked right now number 11, and it's because of the concern. Like if you knew he was going to play, he'd probably go higher. He really would. It's just there's always that fear that he's going to get knocked out of a game. One wrong hit can knock him out. And who knows, man? He may literally, like one more, he just might walk away. I mean,
I know it.
He probably should.
It was good on the Dolphins to get a little better insurance with bringing in Mike White, who we've seen produce in a pretty solid backup role in case, God forbid, Tua go down once again. We saw kind of the Dolphins' weapons go down in value for sure when Tua was not in.
Oh, yeah. But let's move over here to the running backs, and it's a pretty crowded backfield. Raheem Mostert leads the way right now. Jeff Wilson Jr. is second on the depth chart. Rookie Devon, I'm going to butcher this, Achane?
Achane, I think it is.
Okay. Savon Ahmed and Myles Gaskin kind of rolls out the rest of that. This one's an interesting backfield. I personally am not really sure there is going to be a lead guy, but I do think there is value to be had, especially where you can get a lot of these guys. Now, we did not throw ADP on these sheets like we did last year. ADP data just is non-existent right now. You're talking best balls only, which is not relevant for redraft type leagues. So we didn't include it, and you won't see them on any of these team previews. But a lot of these guys are probably going to go middle rounds because there's just no true number one, and they're going to carry the load. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of weeks where Mostert's going to be like a home run hitter. Exactly. Wilson will do it one week. It'll be, they're going to swap around, but like, who's the one, if you had to pick one, that you want?
I think it's Jeff Wilson, just because we've seen him in San Francisco get close or maybe even around double-digit touchdowns. But just looking at their stats last year, Joe, they were so weirdly similar. It was crazy. Yeah. Like, they each averaged 4.9 yards per carry. They each played in 16 games. Mostert had 891 yards and Wilson had 860. So it's really close, but I think I would lean Jeff Wilson. And to be honest with you, they might use Devon Achane as, a third down running back type of guy. And they're going to want to use him because they didn't have many draft picks, and they used a third round pick on this guy. So it's not totally out of the realm of them using him as well, maybe more so later in the season.
Yeah, I think early on, and you led on exactly what I was going to say. I think early on in the season, you're going to see a lot of Mostert and Wilson assuming health, right? And we know that that's an issue for them. Yep. Achane is a guy, and you're talking about a player who has been comped as being faster than Tyreek Hill. How bonkers is that, right? This guy can fly.
Yeah.
100-meter champion. At least in high school he was. I mean, this dude can just straight up, he hits a hole, he's gone. I kind of wonder if he's going to be a guy who's going to get drafted due to hype. Rookie guy. Again, as you alluded to, they used one of their only picks on him, which was shocking. But given the health of the guys in front of him on the depth chart right now, I understand why. And if he, later on in the season, especially Mostert or Wilson sort of gets banged up, I think Achane's going to be a guy who, potentially could be like almost a league winner down the stretch. That is potential there. No, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I think he's got the potential to do it just because the offense is good and he's going to be a big home run hitter. Ideally, he's that fast. He'll just break away from everybody. But let's move over here to our receivers. And we've already said how good this receiving core is, led by Tyreek Hill and Jaylen Waddle. Cedric Wilson next, Braxton Berrios, River Craycraft, and Robbie Chosen for the moment, I suppose, is the number 6 there. You could probably interchange, 4 through 6, really in any order. I don't think that depth chart is totally set there. But the top 3, I think, are pretty locked in where they are. Waddle and Hill for a while there last year were both, or did they actually finish as wide receiver 1s?
I think Waddle finished as wide receiver 12, and Tyreek was a top 5 guy.
Yeah. My apologies for not doing that research ahead of time, but you did, thankfully. And so, look, can they do it again, or you think teams will figure out how to stop one, if not both of these guys, and slow them down just slightly?
Nah, I think they could do it again. Like, Tyreek Hill saw 31% target share and was top 5 in every important statistical category last year. He was just phenomenal. Him and the Tua and his connection was just great. And then Waddle, man, number 1 in yards per reception and yards per target. He had a 21% target share, so it was decent as well. I don't see any reason why this can't happen again.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. As far as the rest of the guys, I'm not really interested in either one of them because of the massive target share that they both just take. And so, Wilson might be okay, but he's just not getting enough. And I don't see this offense changing, as going through those two, and then whichever running back of the day is the choice for this team. Exactly. That's really what it's going to come down to. And it's interesting because, we're going to get to tight ends in a minute, but like, they got rid of Gesicki. So it's almost like these two could almost see a larger target share this year. Mm-hmm. And I almost wonder if getting rid of Gesicki might be a negative for both of them. Gesicki does, demand a bit of coverage because he can catch the ball. Not that they used him the way that he should, but again, we also said the running backs can all catch the ball too. So that's just going to help as well. But yeah, I'm totally with you. They both can finish top 10, top 12, even in half PPR. So I think it's definitely doable. And that's why we like Tua so much too. So let's finish off here with our tight ends. And Durham Smythe is the guy next up here. Tyler Kroft, Eric Saubert. I mean...
Yeah, what do we do here?
I mean, anything, any one of these guys, you're just going like, yeah, I mean, sure, why not? I don't know. Like, what do you think with these guys?
We saw Gesicki last year. Obviously, I think he's a way more talented pass catcher than either of these two guys. But we saw him last year be very streaky, where he'd catch a touchdown or two, and then he'll give you a 0 or a 2 catch for 20-yard type of game. And it's probably going to be somewhere similar to these guys. If they're in a good matchup against a team who gives up a lot of touchdowns to tight ends, maybe you can stream Durham Smythe here and there, but I don't feel comfortable using even a late round pick on either of these tight ends.
Yeah. They used... They used their tight ends as blockers more than you would like. And they even did it with Gesicki, which is why they thought they could get rid of him.
Yep.
And we'll see how it works out. I think losing a threat in the passing game is bad in general, but Gesicki's not known as a great blocker. So they want to be able to protect Tua, for one. They want to be able to run the ball more efficiently. And then, I mean, Smythe and Kroft can both catch the ball. They're not anything, great, but they're, maybe red zone target at best. It's super touchdown dependent, guys. So, but yeah, that is it for our Miami Dolphins 2023 team preview. Again, hit those subscribe buttons, those like buttons. We appreciate it. And we will see you next time. Peace.